POTUS is showing signs of erratic behavior and mental instability that place the country in grave danger. Time to invoke the 25th Amendment. And so I thought you might want to join me in watching this, which I haven't watched yet, so you'll be watching it at the same time that I am. So this is Congresswoman Jackie Spears, who is about to make her case on CNN that the President of the United States is literally crazy and that she can tell by looking at him and watching what he does, of course. So let us watch together as she makes the case that the Commander-in-Chief is batshit crazy, and see how she comes off on this.
It placed the country in grave danger.
Grave
Time
danger.
to invoke the 25th Amendment. And Congresswoman Spears is joining me now. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us.
Okay, she looks like a reasonable person.
Explain to us, our audience, what exactly you're basing this on. What specific examples can you cite as evidence that the president is not stable enough to fulfill his job? Good. Let's go with the evidence.
There's actually a growing mountain of evidence that
Lots
the
of
president
Mountain.
has been very erratic.
Very
has
erratic.
Shown a mental instability. It was crystallized
what about the
last
evidence?
week with a combination of
Well, here it comes, the evidence.
Comments about fire and fury that he offered up against.
Hold on. Her evidence of his craziness is that he knows how to negotiate and has successfully moved North Korea. Is that her evidence that he's crazy? Because a less generous person would say that's evidence she's stupid. Or just, let's see, I could be more kind than that and say it would be evidence that she doesn't know how negotiating works. But I'm sure she has more. It's not like she has one crazy ass reason for removing the President of the United States. You know, she's not going to depend on stupid reasons that are transparently stupid. She's not going to do that. So she has some good reasons that I know are coming up. Let's watch them together. And I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know what's coming.
Kim Jong-un in North Korea and how we would take him out, followed by his back and forth on Charlottesville and how he really became almost abusive in calling people out when...
Wait. His back and forth on Charlottesville? That's it? So the second piece of evidence is that he went back and forth on a topic that people kept asking about. And I think we all watched him do a bad job of saying something that people wanted to hear and then fix it, and then do a bad job and then fix it. But didn't we all know exactly what was going on, which is he's just not good at that? Okay, well, I guess that's the second piece of evidence, that he's crazy, not her. He's definitely crazy because he knows how to negotiate and he answers questions on a topic always consistently, but a few different ways he worded it. That's the important part, is that he never really changed his mind. He just didn't word it the way people wanted to. So he wasn't agreeing with people quite as hard as she thought he should. All right, so the two pieces of information is that he knows how to negotiate well and that he didn't agree with everybody else as hard as he should agree. All right, but she's got more. It's not like she's going to rely on that to try to remove a sitting president, because, you know, that would be crazy. So let's hear the good evidence, because she's saving the good stuff for last. Here it comes.
He was really telling from his soul what he thought about the Charlottesville incident. And I think that...
Wait. He was talking from his soul? Is the soul in any way connected to the brain? It's a little vague, but let's say he was talking from his soul and she could detect that from a distance, because she does have soul detection abilities. It's one of the things you get as a congresswoman, I guess. Is that the right word? Are they Congress people or congressmen and congresswomen? I don't know what the right terms for that is. Let's go on. She's saving the good stuff for last. Here we go.
Combination of those, coupled with the fact that there has been a lot of people behind the scenes talking about his instability in Congress.
A lot of people behind the scenes. She'll name them probably. And I'm pretty sure that there are people who are supporters of the president, right? Or would they just be things she sort of heard? But it couldn't be that, because you wouldn't remove a sitting president because people gossiped about him behind the scenes like every other president ever. So she's got more than that. I don't want to minimize it. This is going to be good. She's got good she has proof that the president is crazy. Watch.
For some time now. If you
go
back in time, like 6 years.
Let's go back in time.
Interviews that he gave then, where he could put a whole sentence together, but now tends to put.
Okay. So the short, simple speaking style, which every expert on linguistics has identified as a superior method of communicating with the public, because they don't like that much complexity. So at just around the time he got serious about running for president, it seems that he dropped the professor speech and turned to man of the people speech. Is it because he's an expert on branding and smart and strategic, or crazy? She's got more. Let's go.
A few words together and then goes off into another sentence unrelated to the first. It is an indication to me that there is some trouble there.
You probably missed the part where she was telling us of her medical credentials to evaluate people's mental state by the way that they speak in public. You might also notice that what she just mentioned, you've seen me do 1,000 times on Periscope, which is I start something, I stop, I go to another thing, I say 3 things in a row that aren't sentences, and you know exactly what I mean, because I'm not trying to talk exactly always on the verbal level. Sometimes it's about the images and the words and the associations and the feeling and the pace and the percussion and the pacing and the leading. There's a lot to this. But if you don't know any of that stuff, it looks like he's crazy. But she's got the good evidence. She's just warming up. She's just warming up, folks, because what she said so far would be awkward and embarrassing and crazy if that's all it was. But I know she would not go on TV wearing those clothes and that haircut and then act crazy. That's not going to happen. So let's wait. Here's the good stuff. Here's come. And by the way, I haven't seen this, so I know that there's good stuff coming.
Is more than just a one-off. And I'm concerned for the American people. I'm concerned about him having his finger.
Wait. Did we leave the evidence phase? And we're in the conclusion phase based on the evidence. So let's see if I can put her case together for her, because she may run out of time. It seems that the evidence for removing a sitting president, commander-in-chief in a time of war, duly elected by the people in a process that we all trust and find credible, give or take a Russian. So this is her case. It's a strong one. Number 1, President Trump used the phrase fire and fury, which is a well-known negotiating technique that she doesn't know. It was visual. It was an indication that we would possibly not act rationally, hence the fury part. It caused North Korea to buckle for the first time ever. And suddenly, things are happening. It's in the news. She's probably seen some of that news. There was also the fact that he speaks in the most effective way for a politician who is a populist to speak. and, the way I speak, so that's pretty good evidence that he's crazy. There was the people who were not named, who were talking about stuff that wasn't explained in places and times that we don't know. So if it was only one thing we didn't know about that, I would say that's not necessarily persuasive. But there are like 4 or 5 things we don't know about that. And you put them all together, and, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm pretty sure I could get a conviction on this evidence alone. And then there was that it? Did I miss any of her evidence? Was it just the 3 things? His soul, yes. And then there was the evidence in which she had used her congressional soul-searching technology to reach out from a distance, penetrate his outer body, his exoskeleton, whatever the hell's he's got going on here in his head, his hair. She got through all of that. They have good soul detection technology. And she looked past his words, which are words like unify the country, we're all on the same team, stop hating. She could penetrate the words that were sort of forming this barrier of good judgment and moral sense. But she got through that into the skin layer, through the epidermis, through, I'm guessing, chest cavity. I don't know exactly. I'm not a biologist or anything, so I don't know where all the organs are. I've got some sense. I think lungs are here. Pledge of Allegiance is like this. I'm guessing heart, somewhere in this area. But also there's a soul, which you can reach if you have congressional soul detection equipment. Goes through the words that the person is speaking and through the actions that you can see, penetrates the epidermis, goes through the chest cavity, rummages around in the internal organs, finds the soul, penetrates the soul's outer layer, which is made of probably some kind of a soul membrane, guessing here, don't know. And then her technology can read the special soul language before it's even translated into English and comes out of anybody's mouth. And then she puts that together with her bad understanding of negotiating, her bad understanding of good communication style, and the fact that there are people who are unnamed who said things we don't know about in places and times we're not aware. Now, if you looked at any of that individually, you'd probably say to yourself, well, that's not very persuasive, right? And that's why you don't look at it individually. You got to put this stuff together. You got to accumulate it, all right? Once you accumulate it, that's a pretty solid argument for President Pence, if you know what I mean. So that's all I have for today. I just wanted to share that there's now a perfectly good reason for impeaching the president, the commander-in-chief in a time of war, and they're not silly. That's some good evidence right there. Backed up by some medical credentials of she's probably seeing a therapist. I mean, that's not like being a doctor. And a therapist isn't necessarily a doctor. But they know doctors. And so I'm guessing that she's got all the credentials she needs. That's all for now. I got to go work out. Somebody just asked, am I being sarcastic? All I will say to that is, don't win small when you could win bigly.